It feels like just yesterday, nobody was talking about generative AI. And now, it's everywhere. It kind of just exploded onto the scene, right? But what is this technology really? Where did it come from? And maybe more importantly, where is it about to take us? Let's dive in and figure it out. So to get a feel for what we're talking about, just read this line. Sounds pretty profound, right? Well, a human didn't write that. An AI did. A machine-generated text that has, a sense of poetry and feeling. And that is the massive shift we're talking about. AI isn't just about crunching numbers anymore. It's actually creating. And it is not just words. I mean, look at this incredible picture. It wasn't painted by an artist or captured by a photographer. It was literally born from a few simple words typed into a prompt. The AI took that little phrase and just dreamed up this entire breathtaking world. The level of detail is just insane. But its creativity isn't just for the arts. Here, someone's asking an AI in just plain English to plot some complex economic data. And boom, just like that, it writes the code and spits out the chart. This shows it gets our language and can handle really technical stuff. So from poetry to programming, generative AI has this incredible range. So that brings us right to our first big question. What exactly is this technology that has totally taken the world by storm? Well, at its heart, generative AI is a creator. It's a kind of AI that doesn't just analyze the data you give it, it makes something brand new and original. Think about it like this. It studies huge amounts of information, like basically the entire internet, to learn the patterns, the rules of how we write or make art or code. And then it uses those rules to make its own stuff. Now, I know it feels like this all just happened overnight, but the truth is this overnight success was actually decades in the making. We're looking at a journey that started a long, long time ago. Yeah, the fuse was lit way back in 1950 when the brilliant Alan Turing first posed the question, can machines think? That simple question led to the term artificial intelligence being officially coined in '56, and by 1966, we had Eliza, one of the world's very first chatbots. And this really shows you just how far we've come. Eliza was clever for its time for sure, but it was basically a smart parrot, just reflecting a person's words back at them using simple patterns. When you compare that to the poetry and coding we saw just a minute ago, wow, the difference is just night and day. So what changed? Why now? Well, it was like a recipe that needed 3 key ingredients to finally come together at the same time. First, we needed way more computing power. Second, we needed a massive explosion of data for the AI to learn from. And third, the final piece of the puzzle, we needed a huge breakthrough in the algorithms themselves. And that brings us to the most important ingredient in that recipe, the big one, the architectural spark that really lit the fuse on this whole explosion. So what was it? What was this revolutionary breakthrough that completely changed the game? It all comes down to this, the transformer architecture. When this was introduced back in 2017, it was an absolute game changer. It gave AI a totally new way to understand context, not just knowing what individual words mean, but how they relate to each other to create the real meaning of a sentence. Its secret weapon is something called the attention mechanism. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like giving the AI a highlighter pen. It can look at a whole chunk of text and highlight the words that are most important for understanding the context. It was this leap that took AI from just processing words to actually understanding relationships. This was the secret sauce. And with the transformer, the scale just went vertical. We measure a model's complexity in parameters. You can think of them like connections in a brain. So in 2018, a model called BERT had about 340 million of them. Just 2 years later, GPT-3 had 175 billion. And today, models like GPT-4 are estimated to have over 1 trillion. That exponential growth is the engine driving all this power. Okay, so we've got this incredible mind-bending power. The big question is, what are we doing with it? Well, these models are no longer stuck in a research lab. They are out in the real world. And they're starting to reshape basically every industry you can think of. Let's start with science, where the impact has been, well, monumental. For 50 years, scientists were trying to crack one of the biggest challenges in biology, predicting how proteins fold. It was a huge deal. And then an AI called AlphaFold came along and solved it. A 50-year-old grand challenge. Done. This could literally change medicine forever. And that's just one example. It's happening everywhere. In healthcare, it's helping doctors spot diseases earlier. In law, it's helping lawyers plow through research. In schools, it's acting like a personal tutor for students. And for artists and programmers, it's become this amazing co-pilot, helping turn ideas into reality faster than we ever thought possible. Okay, so that brings us to the final, and let's be honest, the most fascinating part of this whole story. What comes next? I mean, where is all of this heading? Well, the next big leap is moving from AI as a tool to AI as a collaborator. We're seeing the rise of what people are calling autonomous AI agents. These aren't just things that answer your questions. No, you can give them a goal and they can figure out the steps and actually take action all on their own to get it done. And this isn't science fiction. It's really not. You can go to platforms right now and find tools to build these agents to do specific jobs, like running a newsletter for you or helping you code. The era of the autonomous assistant is already starting to happen. For a lot of researchers, the ultimate end goal here is something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That's the quest to build an AI that doesn't just do one thing well, but can learn, reason, and solve new problems with the same kind of flexibility that a human can. That's the holy grail. Of course, a technology this powerful brings up some really big questions. I mean, think about it. How do we make sure this stuff is safe? How do we make sure it shares our values? What's going to happen to our jobs? These aren't just technical problems, they are massive, important questions for all of us as a society to grapple with. So here's the bottom line. We have successfully built machines that can create, that can reason, and now that can act. The fundamental technology is here. So the only question left, and it's the most important one of all, is what will we choose to build with it?